This sucks for the college. What's going on, bro? Let's pivot off of that, bro. Why do you think so many people are getting injured nowadays? Is it the turf? Is it the stretching? Is it the practices? Is it the new wave of workouts? Like what do you think the reason is? Because let's be honest, for some reason, it seems like nowadays we see a lot more torn ACLs, a lot more torn Achilles. That's for sure.
We've been seeing
And
torn Achilles left and right.
a lot more torn Achilles and a
And there's
lot
been
just
what 3 in the NFL already.
three in the NFL already. And it's just shocking to me.
Because Angeli for Syracuse tore his
Uh-huh.
this past week against Clemson,
Yeah, I think so.
which competitively is like, okay, cool, that lightens up some stuff maybe, but we
That
don't
light,
know how. But
that
their
lightens up
backup
some
is good
stuff.
enough.
But you know what they're gonna say. You know what they're gonna say. Even if we beat Clemson, or not Clemson, but beat Syracuse, could y'all beat them had they started? The same argument that could be made when Florida State had Jordan Travis. Like had
I
Jordan
mean,
Travis.
it's the same argument that you would get for most teams, especially when you got one that's been looking as bad as ours has been looking.
Right. It's like, would y'all really have beaten them had they starter?
Like, had
Would
they been at
you?
full strength, would this have gone the same way? To which, at the end of the day, the real response is doesn't matter.
It don't. But you know
So the
how to.
fact that there's no offseason, the body doesn't get a chance to rest. I say that part of my thing was to say about on the same lines as this as the workload and the fact that like they don't really get a break because you got some athletes that play multiple sports in college, so they go into from one set of workouts to another set of workouts with no real break, and then back to this set of
Uh,
workouts. But
I'm gonna say no to that, but it's not off. But the reason why I'm gonna kind of pivot and take it a different spot because for years we've always had off-season workouts and dudes working year round. Like this isn't a new thing at the college or pro level. Like summer workouts have always been a thing. Like spring workouts have always been a thing. Fall camp has always been a thing. I genuinely think that as medical technology has advanced, we've seen a lot more workouts that are machine or resistance based, but we're not doing enough like just full speed contact practices, full speed drills, like where it's body to body, and your body's getting used to making these movements at game time speed because we can never replicate exactly what we're going to do in a game unless we're doing it in that game moment. You know what I mean? Because you can do a lot of plyometrics, and I'm not saying plyometrics is a bad thing by any means necessary. You can do a lot of plyometric stuff, but you can't simulate as much as you do plyometrics. That's not going to simulate when you actually playing against somebody and jumping against somebody with that type of body weight because you never had that body weight on you, or you're doing this jump from this certain angle at this time because plyometrics, you're hitting this rep and then coming out of it. So
I said when I played, we rested for 2 months before starting off-season workouts.
when I,
Well, but which is about right because once the offseason is done, no, that makes sense. Because like I said, even on my end, we did the same thing. We rested about 2 months, unless you played a different sport,
high
and
school,
which is something I was about to point out is like the other thing is somebody else. I can't remember what his name was because this was a basketball player. Somebody else pointed out the problem with kids playing like AAU ball and stuff like that is you're playing the same sport all year long. Like you don't get any break from that sport. Because I remember with like,
that's why they
especially with
say
our
playing
generation,
multiple. That's why they say playing multiple sports is actually better for you.
is much better for you. Because in our generation growing up, even if you played a sport, even if you just let's say you just played the one sport, you did other stuff between the sport. Like you did some like yeah, you may not have played on the baseball team, but you were out playing baseball, you were out playing basketball, you were out swimming, you were out doing a whole multitude of different things that prepared your body for a whole bunch of different movements, a bunch of different resistances, and a myriad of different situations. Now you have guys that are go in and has been playing this one sport all year long, so their body is tailored for this one thing, and then mixing it on your end. When it comes down to workouts, you got a lot of machines and a lot of resistance training, but you don't have a whole lot of foot on the ground having to force kind of workouts up
Yeah.
until you get to spring or the summer workouts when you start finally putting pads back on. When you play a multitude of sports, your body's being worked and turned and twisted and doing all this all year long in different ways. So it's prepared for these different lateral, different jump movements, so on and so forth. If you're just used to having a whole bunch of resistance and a whole bunch of force pushed back on you because of certain workouts, all it's doing is just stretching the ligaments and making them soft.
Yeah.
You're not really giving. It's like then you got guys who are having to do 2 a day, 3 a day workouts and not really recovering well either.
That's a big one. I mean,
Because like
and
you have to
and
be able to
Tigger
recover.
and
And
Tigger, you did
I
say
can
it,
get it.
like
Like you got guys coming out of college football now. It seems like once January is over, you got maybe February of a break, and then you're back in spring workouts in March.
because I know for us, so high school, I had 2 weeks between each sport. I did football, basketball, baseball, right?
Right.
And like as soon as the season's over, you had like one official dead week where there was like no sports, no practices, no nothing. Like that was mandated. Official dead week, and then you had tryout week for those who were, and obviously you kind of got to go through the motions. If you're a starter or you're a returner, you're just going through the motions more or less.
Right.
You got to go through it, but you're not. You know you're on the team essentially because you're coming back, unless you just do bad. And then that's when you're really back at it. College, when I played at CSU, we started workouts in February. Like we started like early practices and weightlifting in February. I don't think we did like full hitting till late February, maybe March. And then we finished out spring camp. Took about 3 weeks, 2 weeks, because that's when spring semester ended. And May semester wouldn't kick in until like 2, 3 weeks later. And that's when I was also working Waffle House at night shift and doing the summer workouts. And that was all the way from May to flipping the first week of August. And I just barely missed out on making fall camp. But fall camp, they had 1 week. They had 1 week of rest, and then they were back at it. Or it was either like a couple of days or a weekend or something like that. So, and then right after that, we're back in the season. We're in the season and whatnot, and you're playing until December. You're playing, at least in the FCS, you're playing until December, start of January if you make it to the championship. That first week of January if you make it to the championship. But yeah, you're only given about a month or two. But I'll wholeheartedly agree with the multi-sport athlete, because even Greg Olson just talked about that recently, saying if you have a coach who tells your kid to only play one sport, that coach is only serving their best interest. They're not serving the best
That's it.
interest
Like, they're not serving your
for
kids' best interest.
your kid.
They don't know or they don't care to point out that you playing multiple sports is giving you a skill set that works that literally blends together for every sport.
Plot.
You're going to pick up a skill that works in football that also elevates your game in basketball. You're going to find a skill in basketball that finds out that it's going to elevate your skill in baseball. You're going to find something in baseball that's going to elevate you in football. It's
You want to know a
it all
prime
works
example?
together.
You want to know a prime example of that right now? Carolina Panthers in the game, and I think you might have seen the clip too. Tedero McMillan played volleyball.
Yeah.
Tedero McMillan played volleyball and attributes his height, attributes his
like
jumping ability to volleyball. Like the way he can go up and get a pass.
A lot of guys that we see in the Hall of Fame now a lot of them played basketball.
Julius Peppers
Gonzalez played basketball.
Think about it.
Jimmy
Julius
Graham
Peppers,
played basketball.
when he was at North Carolina, was
Julius
a
Peppers
star.
Played basketball.
Was a star basketball player and a star football player. Like he wasn't a slouch as a basketball player by any means.
No. Like you got like playing multiple sports ain't
Antonio
a bad thing, especially
Gates. Antonio Gates never played football. Antonio Gates didn't play football until he got to the NFL. Maybe college.
I'm about to say I think he had to play a little bit in college. I think he played like maybe a year or two.
Only reason I said that is because we almost took the The Panthers almost took old boy from Coastal, who had never played, for tight
Yeah,
end.
'cause I think he never played until he got to college.
But even so, like you said,
You see that
those
story a
different
lot.
sports, those different sports make you do different things and teach you to do different things. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't care how much you play basketball. I don't care how much you play football. Nothing will train your hand-eye coordination better than playing baseball. Maybe tennis. Like when it comes to hand-eye coordination and having to track something really fast,
Yeah,
like having to track an object really fast, baseball and tennis is that sport for you.
that's
You
it.
want to you want to be able to jump and go up there? Volleyball, volleyball and basketball. I'll say that. You want to know what conditioning? You want to know what conditioning is like in hot degrees and whatnot? If you want it
Soccer.
with a, if you, I was about to say, if you want no equipment, just conditioning straight up, soccer, 1,000%,
Then
one
you'll have
thousand
lungs
percent.
for days. But yeah, but